people, so that you don't waste too much time thinking about what would they read. No, you generate these interesting stories and so on. So a lot of stuff, a lot of thoughts go in all these things indeed. So it is a struggle, and especially it is a struggle for me. I mean, it is not only a physical struggle. I mean, I have struggled financially throughout my life. I mean, I did not grow up wealthy. We were not poor. I mean, we were not poor. I grew up in modest means. So a bit of struggling. It's no big matter, isn't it? Because in the end, you have to be thankful that you have a roof above your head. But struggle is rather, especially in the last years, struggling was for me mainly to deal with those issues I had in my youth. I mean, with those traumatic events. And if you are a victim of abuse and these things, they are all different. I mean, I talked about this and I will never stop talking about it. But if you're a victim of trauma or some serious traumatic events, these things, they never leave you alone. They haunt you. They do not leave you alone. I mean, you dream about it. You think about it. Even right now, even days pass by where I think only about it, where I only think about what happened. I mean, where you, of course, are infuriated. I mean, these things, they happened to you. They destroyed you. And they destroyed the lives of many others. Indeed, you know that, but it is mainly you. I mean, your life was destroyed. Your life was ruined. You could not change it, and this leaves some sort of a void. I mean, if I only try to remember my childhood, my youth, there's a lot of things missing. Only later I found out. I mean, why? So people, or these pedophiles in school who abused many children, they drugged them, they erased their memories, and they did it all in plain sight. I mean, if you some sort of think about this, I mean, there is a lot of years, a lot of experiences in your life, they are missing, and I mean, even though if you remember this, because sooner or later you remember parts of this, and this is a very hard and severe process. I mean, if you remember stuff from your past which has been so long, I mean, which has been in your childhood, these are decades we are talking. I mean, I'm over 30, and some of these things that happened to me, they are almost more than 25 years back. So even though if you remember this, is you never remember these things as a part of you. No, you rather remember them as something distant. And if you some sort of work, if you want to work through your trauma, then you, these things are very difficult, because firstly, you cannot believe that these things happened to you. I mean, all this time they drugged you, they erased your memories, so you could never really deal with all this stuff. You could never work through this stuff. So all these years you some sort of lived oblivious, and then once in your life, now you're over 30, you are alone, you're stuck alone, and then you start to remember stuff from your youth, from your childhood, and you did not believe these things, or you do not believe this stuff. You initially you think that these are some sort of just something which might have happened to someone else, but then more and more you realize, no, this was me, I'm the victim, I'm the one, this happened, these things happened, and you are all left by your alone, you are all left by yourself to deal with these issues, to deal with this trauma. And this is, I think, one of the most struggling things, most grueling things, that you are alone in this, and that you have to find your way out of it, make sense of it. I mean, even though if you remember this, a lot of your childhood is lost, a lot of your thoughts and experiences are lost, and not only do you see the world from one perspective, and this is the perspective of being a victim, of being the one these people could do, this whose life they ruined. It is not only that, so that everything for that matter has only one perception or one notion, and this is to be a victim. Now you some sort of think to yourself, there must have been at least some blissful days in my childhood, some joyous days in my childhood, but they were all erased. You do not remember them. You only see see your self as a victim. You are devoid of any positive experiences which would make you human, which would give you some sort of experience about life, about how beautiful life could be. No, but these things, they are all missing. They are erased from yourself. I don't know whether they exist, whether I had blissful days in my youth, in my childhood. Well, you do not remember. You only remember a black box, and more you unwrap this black box and you see hideous stuff. You remember hideous stuff, and nothing is left. And there is always hate. This is always what gets you. Hatred, deep hatred. I mean, how could you think any differently? I mean, there were people who ruined your lives. There were these people who did with you whatever they wanted, and they got away with it. This is the worst thing that you have to deal with. I mean, they got away with it. They could do with you whatever they wanted because they thought you were lucky, or that you are low life, and that you are their servants, and they could do with you whatever they want. I mean, this is a hard thing to deal with. I mean, because you have to think, and you are constantly reminded about your value as a human being. I mean, am I worth it? Anything? Some people thought that my life was not worth anything. That's why they could do with me whatever they want, and still thereafter did with me whatever they want. They thought my life was not anything but inferior. So this is a lot to deal with your self-esteem, with who you are, and what you wanna do with yourself and with your life, and their life choices. Well, your life was already molded. It has been taken away from you. Your life was already chosen decisions have been made for you. So there is not much you can change anymore once you have went through this hell. Then you feel burned out. There are days in my life where I think where I really try to remember. Have you any positive experiences? Have you any blissful experiences in your life? Especially now where you start to remember this over and over again, what happened to you, and you remember these hideous and despicable people who ruined your life, and you still ask yourself, you try to conjure up some memories where you some sort of assume, well, do I have any experience, any positive experience which would be worthwhile thinking, which was blissful and which would be telling about you. This is about, I think, very important for your human identity. All these experiences you have, either with your loved ones, with your parents, with your friends, these experiences, they make you those emotions. A human being lives through emotions. A lot of philosophers actually say this. As a human being, you are the sum of all your emotions, and these emotions, they lead to your special understanding of your self, your feeling, your emotion, your sentiment. These are very crucial, and you do not forget these, of course. But what if all your emotions, all the memories you have about the past, what if they are only about you struggling to survive, you being dragged through hell, and this over and over again when people could not leave you alone? This really destroys you in that way, because you some sort of feel this burned out, not out of an exhaustion, not like burnout like you would see. I'm burned out because I'm exhausted. No, this is a burned out. You some sort of feel because you don't have any positive experiences. This is some sort of a sentiment of your life, your feeling and perception of life, that you do not have any blissful, positive experiences about life. This is, I think, the hard stuff to deal with, to go through. And then what's left? What is left? After, if you have nothing to some sort of shelter you with, and this is what you have to think about as well, or think it in a way as well, especially if you go through hard times. Some of us, for them it is easy to go through hard times. Why? Because they have a lot of memories about good times where they can, in a way, assure themselves that everything will be fine, that they will be able to come up on their feet one day, that they will be able to go through this and unscathed, or whatever you have. But then if you have no positive experiences, if you struggle, this is very hard. If you have struggled for all your life, and if your life was up to that point nothing but savage survival, then these things, they change you. Then you see things differently. Then it is not about a goal anymore. You don't say, if I accomplish this and that, then, well,